These anti-Semitic lies, they have consequences. In recent months, Jews have been assaulted in Canada, Australia, Britain, France, the Netherlands, and elsewhere. Here in America, an elderly Holocaust survivor was burned to death in Colorado. And a beautiful young couple from the Israeli embassy in Washington was brutally gunned down right in front of the Holocaust Museum there. Thankfully, President Trump's administration is forcefully fighting the scourge of anti-Semitism, and every government here should follow its lead. But instead, many do the opposite. They actually reward the worst anti-Semites on earth. This week, the leaders of France, Britain, Australia, Canada, and other countries unconditionally recognized a Palestinian state. They did so after the horrors committed by Hamas on October 7th. Horrors praised on that day by nearly 90% of the Palestinian population. Now, let me say that again. Nearly 90% of Palestinians supported the attack on October 7th. It's not supported only, they celebrated it. They danced on the rooftops. They threw candies. That's both in Gaza and in Judea, Samaria, the West Bank, as you call it. And it's just the way they celebrated another horror, 9/11. They danced on the rooftops. They cheered. They threw candy. You know what message the leaders who recognize the Palestinian state this week sent to the Palestinians? It's a very clear message. Murdering Jews pays off. Well, I have a message for these leaders. When the most savage terrorists on earth are effusively praising your decision, you didn't do something right. You did something wrong, horribly wrong. Your disgraceful decision will encourage terrorism against Jews and against innocent people everywhere. It will be a mark of shame on all of you.
Today, the Prime Minister of Israel spoke to the United Nations General Assembly. Or it's more accurate to say he spoke at the General Assembly. Many of the diplomats walked out, refusing to hear what he had to say. That adds up. I mean, they don't want to hear the other side of the story. They want to hear from the pro-Hamas side, the pro-Palestinian side. The UN is supposed to be a place where different countries can meet in a neutral way, but that's long gone. Of course, many of the diplomats who walked out are from dictatorships. I don't know who needs to hear this, but there is no true democracy in the entire Middle East, except for Israel. Some of the dictatorships are benign, like the United Arab Emirates, and maybe Jordan, and maybe a few others, but the rest are dictatorships all the way down, where the main difference is how Islamist they are, how pro-terrorist they are. So naturally they hate Israel. But if you take the walker-outers at face value, they're walking out because they say Israel has committed a genocide. A genocide is a deliberate campaign to eradicate an entire race of people. Israel is not committing a genocide, it's committing a war against a terrorist group that attacked it and now hides behind civilians to maximize PR damage to Israel. In fact, the population of Gaza has increased over the course of the war. But take it at face value just for the purpose of debate. That is why the diplomats walked out. Okay, now you know who really is committing a genocide or trying to? China. They have a massive series of concentration camps, like the Nazis did. But they have Uyghur Muslims in it. That's an ethnic minority in the west of China. More than 1 million people. They do crazy things like forcing them to eat pork, having the religion beaten out of them, basically trying to replace their belief in Islam with their belief in Chinese communism. A United Kingdom expert panel really has declared it a genocide, but it's so hard to stand up to China, and they're so rich and so powerful, and they're the biggest counterweight to the hated United States, so no criticism for them. Never a walkout, never a boycott. Any boycott of Chinese athletes, any blacklisting of Chinese businesses? Just kidding. Of course not. But here in Canada, look at this. Advocacy group calls on Canada Soccer to refuse to host World Cup if Israel plays. And UN experts have also pushed FIFA and UEFA to suspend the nation from their respective competitions. Oh, UN experts have, eh? They're experts in soccer. Let me read just a little bit more. They haven't yet qualified, but Israel could be facing other challenges making it to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. A Canadian independent human rights group, do you believe they're independent, has joined the growing calls to suspend Israeli soccer teams from international play over the war in Gaza. Just Peace Advocates, a Toronto-based Palestinian solidarity organization. Hang on, I thought you said they were independent a moment ago, and now you're acknowledging they're on the Palestinian side. They sent a letter this week calling on Canada Soccer to publicly demand the suspension of the Israeli Football Association and to refuse to host next summer's World Cup if Israel remains part of it. The letter is signed by some 270 academics, legal experts, journalists, and advocates. Journalists, sound like the most objective journalists around. And to think they say Rebel News is too opinionated. The whole thing sounds a bit like Jackie Robinson is reverse, the first black pro baseball player. Except for they're doing it in reverse, they're purging the Jews from soccer. Israel isn't even qualified yet, but they need to be purged. These people are obsessed. But then there's this, it's even crazier. Eurovision body to hold vote on Israel's participation. Now, Eurovision is a song contest with notoriously awful songs. Every country in Europe participates, and it's like a giant America's Got Talent. There's voting. Israel has traditionally participated too. Just for the flavor of the music, here is Ireland's entry from last year. I won't inflict the whole thing on you. Yeah, that's lovely. Here's the Israeli contestant last year with a song about resilience to terrorism. Take a look for a minute.
Write around my symphony, play it with me, look into my eyes and see. People walk away but never say goodbye. Someone stole the moon tonight, took my light. Everything is black and white. Who's the fool who told you boys don't cry? Hours and hours and powers. Life is no game but it's ours. Why? The time goes by. Every day I'm losing my mind, holding on in this mysterious ride.
The singer, Eden Golan, had to practice singing with people shouting at her. If I understand correctly, the Eurovision production actually played a pre-recorded version because they knew so many people in the crowd would be shouting and shrieking at her. They seemed like really nice people. Nonetheless, she came in second in the whole contest. And I say again, it's based on ordinary people voting in every country. Ordinary people voting by the thousands. So the official people, the independent human rights experts, may not like her, but ordinary people, ordinary Europeans voted for her. She actually came in second. I find that very reassuring. Now, this year, the Israeli candidate is Yuval Raphael. She survived the Hamas attacks on the Nova Music Festival. If you know, October 7th, there was this big dance party. That's where a lot of the young people were kidnapped. She hid in a bomb shelter with about 50 other people. She literally hid under a pile of bodies for 8 hours and was one of only 11 survivors rescued there. So yeah, it's pretty crappy to shout at her, but she's faced worse, hasn't she? But that satanic girl from Ireland is tickety-boo. This is madness. It feels like a mania, literally. It's not just anti-Israel. It's anti-Jewish. When visibly Jewish people get attacked on the streets in Canada, when schools and synagogues get attacked in Canada. It's not a foreign country that's being attacked. It's Jews who are Canadian. I think this makes most people deeply uncomfortable, what's going on. Most Canadians, at least. But I think the worst thing about it is how enthusiastic the Canadian government is in all of these boycotts and the official moments of hatred. And it's because Trudeau and now Carney see the millions of anti-Semites we have imported into our country. And the Liberals aren't going to let their votes go to waste, are they? And if the cost is a few Jews, well, that's a price they're willing to pay.